All right, let's talk your home for a moment. If you've ever looked around your home and wondered, geez, why the clutter keeps coming back, our next guest says it may not be your stuff at all. In fact, we are joined by a minimalism educator, author of the Amazon #1 bestseller, Own with Intention, and host of the podcast Enough Already. Please welcome Lauren Craddock. She is actually sharing why clutter is really a mindset issue, the biggest mistake families make when trying to simplify their homes, and how small intentional changes can help you reclaim more time, energy, and space for what matters most. I'm so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
I feel like we have clutter everywhere. I have a 3-year-old and I'm like, I need to purge some things. So what would you say is the main problem about clutter?
Clutter is just the symptom. So many people look at clutter and they think, oh, that's the biggest issue I have. No, I say it's the symptom and it points to what's going on underneath. So in my book, Own with Intention, I share my story of, when I was a young mom with just one kid at the time and just felt like I spent all my time organizing and clutter kept coming back. And it wasn't until I paused and began to really address the stories I told myself. So stories like, I need this, or I deserve this, or this will fix me. And these stories kept me stuck and kept the clutter coming back. And so when I finally had the awareness to begin addressing those stories, my spending habits began to change. And when my stories and my habits began to change, then the clutter and the systems around me also began to change. So that's why I like to point people back to, it's not just focusing in on the clutter, because I did that for so many years. And when you just focus on the clutter, it comes back. But if you focus on what's going on underneath, you can really begin to make a difference.
It's so true, because how often do we just get something to make ourselves feel better? I mean, did I really need to get that off of Amazon?
Exactly.
I actually, the Amazon delivery guy was in our neighborhood, and I told my husband, breaking news, it's not coming to our house today. And he was like, oh,
yes,
because I've become more aware of this too. So I have to say, what would you say is the #1 mistake families make when bringing minimalism home?
I typically find that there's one person who is really gung-ho about it, and they address the rest of their family and say, we are getting rid of everything. We should do this. And that immediately puts up walls from other people, because everyone has an emotional attachment and relationships with things. And so I encourage people to first start with their own space. Like, first show up in your own space, minimize your own space, own your own space. And then begin to have conversations with your family members and say, hey, this is what I'm learning. This is what I'm seeing in my own spaces. What if we were to do this in more areas of our house? Like, how do you want our home to look? When you invite your family members into conversation and say, what do you want our living area to look like and feel like when we show up? Then all of a sudden people have ownership. It's not just about one person taking control and prescribing for the whole house of what it should look like, but it's like, no, we're coming together as a family unit to decide what we want our spaces to look and feel like.
So if we were to start today to minimize clutter, what should we do?
Great question. So many people think that they need to have a full free weekend, and that's not true. You can do that in a simple 5 minutes a day. So if you go to my website, ownwithintention.com, I have a free guide that's called the 5 and 5, and it's 5 free steps in 5 simple steps in 5 minutes a day. And this is literally what I use in my own home, because when you show up time and time again, momentum happens and positive change happens. And it makes minimalism accessible for all people. It's not just for a certain group of people, it's for everyone to really be able to maximize their impact.
I'm excited about that, because so often I'm like, I have so many closets I need to clean out, but I don't have enough time. So I'm excited to see this approach. It will help me for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
So where can we go? Again, you have a website, but also to get a copy of your book.
Absolutely. In my book, I share everything that I practice as far as minimalism goes, and as well as 20 practices that you can decide, okay, which of these practices fit best for our family? Because it's not just a one size fits all. You're able to figure out what works for you and your family.
Well, I really appreciate you sharing this with us today.
Yes, you're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
I'm excited. I'm going to start getting more minimalist, if you will. So thank you so
Yes,
much.
absolutely.